Let me just make sure everything's working properly. Mute tab. Let us know if you have audio, live chat. Oh yeah, okay. So I think we're live. Let me just double check. Christy, can you tell us how the audio is? Jim, say something.
Test, everything all right? Hi, everybody. If we're live.
All right, so Jim and we're gonna go over the news that we collected from the past week. Some of them we found ourselves. Some of them it was recommended by you guys on the YouTube comments. Anna, which works a lot on finding the news and posting it and collecting your comments, and she does a lot of work on this, so thank you so much, Anna. Shout out to Anna. If you guys want to recommend our what to cover next week, make sure once these videos are out to go in the comment section of our YouTube videos and let us know what news you want us to cover next week. Before we cover the news for today, I just want to really quickly, I'll promise it's going to be fast, give a shout out to some of our new patrons. Ashley, Rooney, David, Alex, I'm not going to pronounce last names because I don't know how. Alex, Ben, Chris, Evan, Suzanne, and Anand. So thank you so much for I think we're at 40 right now. Based on our estimate, if we reach 100 patrons, we finally will be able to cover all our costs. So I think we're gonna get there hopefully soon. Because we've been covering everything out of pocket when it comes to our expenses, but we're trying to get 100 patrons. So if you guys could help us out with that, we would be very grateful. Anyway, so let's. By the way, Christy is now our new live chat mod. So thank you, Christy, for doing this. Jeremy is in the live chat. Islam Zionism. That's a very long username. I can't. All right, Jim, you can see the live chat as well, right?
Yeah, sure can.
Okay, good. All right, so what's our first news?
Well, our first news today comes from Iraq. Shimaa Qasim has been receiving these chilling death threats in a campaign that they're suspecting is targeting Westernized women in the Middle East. In a video clip, Qasim told her 2.7 million followers on Instagram that women in the country are being slaughtered like chickens, and branded Ferris, who was killed September 27th. She's the latest victim of violence targeting secular women living in Iraq, branded her a martyr. Ms. Ferris had also spoken out against religious, tribal, and political leaders.
Okay, so not to be confused with last week's news. Last week we had one of these models executed in daylight, right, in her car. Somebody shot her, and now we're getting this another model in Iraq is now she's getting death threats, and she's very scared, and I think rightfully so. She's the how many models so far been killed in Iraq?
Well, there's been 5 women now in the beauty industry in Iraq that have been killed that are suspected. It's suspected that they are done for religious reasons, because all of these women are very westernized. They take pictures of themselves, they post them publicly on the internet. Everybody knows who they are, where they are, and so it really makes them an easy target for fundamentalists to send messages.
Right, but first, I don't know if I like the term westernized. This is just, I mean, I don't think that the West owns the idea of women being free to dress and wear what they want, right? I think this is just women being independent and acting the way and looking the way they want, right? I think this is
Sure.
a global concept. It's not the West. I think the people that call them westernized are people like in Iraq. They're trying to say like this is not our culture. This is a Western culture, right? But if your culture teaches you that you could get to tell women what to wear and how to look like, then that's a shitty culture.
Sure. Well, I mean, our our culture here where I live in the United States, it's far from a reflection of true equality. But compared to other places, women have much more rights. And with the new age of technology and the internet, women from all over the world are seeing American women empowering each other. And I don't know that most American women, whenever they post publicly like that, they don't realize that they have not only a viewing in the United States, but an international viewing, and it's empowering these other women, overseas, saying, well, if these women can get equality and they are this happy and they're able to express themselves, and then I
Right.
should be able to as well.
Right. So yeah. So you're saying these other countries are a source of inspiration, but yeah. But so some people might point out that none of these have been resolved yet. Nobody, like we're saying, these are religious crimes, but nobody's been arrested so far. How
Right.
these threats? So how are we saying it's religious?
Well, the investigation has not happened yet, but the Iraqi Prime Minister Al Abadi said that he is launching an investigation into a possible link between the murders. So, as a matter of fact, he said, and I quote, that there is evidence suggesting that there is a plan formulated by organized parties to undermine security under the pretext of fighting against depravity. So he and the other investigators that are looking into this are already going into this with the belief that there is a link between these murders amongst these women in the beauty
Right.
community.
So for people that criticize us and tell us that, like, oh, you guys are just labeling this as religious, even though without the investigation, the Iraqi police and the Iraqi government, they are looking at this as if it's religious. So, I mean, their assumption. I mean, obviously nothing is 100%, but Occam's razor, if you apply Occam's razor, this is Iraq. These women are within the beauty industry. They're being targeted. I mean, that's the safest bet that this is something religious, right?
Right.
Uh,
And this particular woman became a target in 2015 when she won Miss Iraq. So she's been a target since then, but since these other murders have happened, the amount of threats that she's received have gone up. In fact, she's receiving text messages that are saying "You're next."
oh yeah, that's what she's getting. Like, so far, that's the message that she got on her phone, that you're next. That you're gonna.
Yes.
That's so fucking scary, isn't it? Like, you already know that they've been successful at killing other women, and you're now being a target. Also, there was this high profile, I don't know, somebody from Iraq in Arabic, they tweeted, like, why is everybody so I'm not exactly quoting this, but this was the tweet that a lot of people point to. I think it was a high profile person, I don't know if it was a politician or somebody, saying that, well, these are just whores that are being shot. Like, like, as in, why is everybody being upset about this, right? Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's
See, that's the mentality though. Is if you can dehumanize the person, then it makes the attack seem less vile than it really is.
right. But I'm saying, even among people that would, obviously a lot of people in Iraq are condemning this, right? But there's a whole bunch of other people within Iraq that don't see this as a problem. Might even see it as uh, like as a vigilante justice, like somebody doing a public service to make sure that girls think twice before they wear. I mean,
Right. I mean, it's like you said last week. In a sense, these are honor killings.
right, they are. I mean, I don't know if people understand, like, the way these women are dressing. For a lot of us, this is like not even that. Obviously, they should be able to dress whatever they want, but even by standards that some people have here about what is considered too sexual, which I don't think there should be any standard at all, but they're not that out there, you know what I mean? But a lot of people, when somebody just shows their body and uh, expresses themselves in this way, for a lot of people, in Iraq or in countries around there, they see that like as these are just the worst of the worst. They call them whores, they call them prostitutes, and they think like it doesn't matter. You're just cleaning up, right? That's what they see it as. I mean, even the people that are not, among many of the people that would not do the killing themselves, they think that whoever is doing it is justified, which is, you know. Another problem with this is that this actually works, right? Like, first of all, nobody has been captured yet, right? Second of all, these people are winning because I'm pretty sure even a lot of women that wanted to like push the boundaries and bring more freedom and become more independent and inspire more people that they could express themselves the way they want. I think more and more people that were considering this are now gonna think twice before doing anything like this, right? And I can't blame them. Like, we sitting here be like, no, show them, don't let them scare you, don't let them, you know, be who you want. We don't negotiate with terrorists. But yeah, we're saying that from a position of safety, right? But these, I mean.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, and these are women, you know, none of these women came out unscathed. Every single one of these women died. None were shot at, you know, they were shot, they were killed. And so, yeah, I mean, other women are looking at this, and as much as they want to feel empowered, and as much as they want to be able to express themselves freely, especially in the way that they dress, they really have no option but to shut down. I mean, because it obviously so far justice hasn't been served in these, and like you said, these people are getting away with it, and they're very successful in their actions.
Right. Let me see what the top comment is on Facebook. Oh, by the way, let me bring the Facebook live chat as well. I don't want them to feel like we're ignoring them. All right. Okay, so top comment is by Rebecca. Oh no, the top comment is by Elwin. Says peaceful Islam. Rebecca is saying, and obviously he's being.
It's an oxymoron.
Yeah. No, but obviously they're making fun of Islam. Rebecca is saying the headline could have been worded better. I thought I was able. Well, yeah, we didn't pick the headline. These are articles that we posted from. Where was it? This was. By the Sun World News. Okay, so Rebecca is commenting about the headline. The headline could have been worded better. I thought I was about to read an article about a beauty queen sending death threats. Okay, that's a criticism on the headline on the article. So Saif is saying, I just can't understand why did Rafif, Tara, and Russia, all RIP, stayed here in Iraq. Okay, so Saif himself is in Iraq, and he's saying, I don't understand why these women stayed in Iraq when they could have afforded to leave. Too bad they had this tragic, untimely end. I mean, well, I can't comment on that because I don't know what situation they were going through, but obviously, I mean, they must have had their reasons. What do you think?
Right. Well, I mean, they were obviously successful in their career. They were obviously successful in whatever they were doing. You know, they were business owners. They were successful models, popular models. I mean, and at the same time, you know, if you live in a country that you love, that your family is from, and you're seeing it act in a way that's contrary to what you deem to be moral, then I don't know about you, but I myself would do everything that I could to make an example of how things should be, instead of just running from the problem and allowing the extremists to win.
Right. Yeah, good. Well, I mean, yeah, but that's a decision for them to make, right? Obviously, if somebody wants to leave Iraq, nobody should tell them that, oh, you should have stayed and fight, right? Because obviously it's their life. They get to, and if anybody wants to stay and fight, I mean, I think that's admirable, and I think just because we wouldn't advise that for ourselves, I don't think we should be. We don't get to make that decision for somebody else. Obviously, we if somebody is taking risks that they don't know they're taking, we want to let them know what risks they're taking. But if somebody is aware of the risks that they're taking and they still decide to fight, I don't think it's justified for us to tell them that they made the wrong decision. I think we just have to thank them, right? Because they know the risk, they're taking the risk. I mean, every single rights we enjoy today is because somebody at some point took a risk for it, right? But by the way, Nusantara sent us a super chat, $5. Thank you so much, Nusantara. It says, this is why the progressive pro-Islam narrative needs to be destroyed before any progress can be made on reforming Islam in the Middle East. Well, I don't think you can reform Islam. I think you have to defeat Islam, but I agree with the rest of that.
Right, absolutely. And if you send us a super chat in the comment section on YouTube, we will definitely address your comments. So make sure it's something pertinent.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for this. That's very generous, Santara. Oh, hi, Mike. Hi, Soraya. All right, so let's go to... Oh, wait, did I read the... Yeah, I did. Okay, let's go to the next news.
The next news is from New Zealand, where an anti-vaccination group's billboard went up and in less than 48 hours was taken right back down. The government's Advertising Standards Authority received 140 complaints about the billboard. The sign reads, "If you knew the ingredients in a vaccine, would you risk it?" And it has a picture of a father cuddling close with his newborn baby.
Wait, this should be illegal, I think. Am I okay? I'm all for government not meddling in people's business and stuff, but this billboard is actually dangerous and harmful, isn't it? Don't you think? Like, this is
Right. Well, and that's what the argument was, that they actually have an organization called the Advertising Standards Authority in New Zealand, and their sole purpose is determining what is and isn't appropriate for by advertising standards. And it was taken down because they said that it was inappropriate for the exact reason that you said. But they are countering this group, which is called Warning About Vaccine Expectations, or WAVE, WAVE. They said that it was not against advertising guidelines because they were just posing a question. That they were saying that they weren't trying to spread a belief, but just ask a question.
Oh, come on, we know.
Right. So they're just trying to play it innocent.
Right. I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Like, do you think that promoting anti-vaccine ideas should be illegal, given that it could actually cause, or is that a freedom of speech thing?
I believe that any harmful ideology should be illegal in that.
But then who gets to decide what's a harmful ideology, then?
Well, I mean, a harmful ideology is anything that is proven to be harmful, and not vaccinating has been proven to be harmful.
Yeah, but the thing is that if you give a government that authority, they're going to make atheism illegal. You know what I mean? I just don't know where the line is. Where's the line between actually scamming people and that being illegal and having people's freedom? I mean, you don't want to take away people's freedom of speech away, right? But
absolutely
right. But if I sell you something and I say this will cure you, and it has nothing in it, that's a scam, right? If you maybe you won't go to the doctor because you think you just got a medicine and then you die, right? So I think alternative medicine, homeopathy, all of that stuff should be legal. And if that's illegal, then if somebody is spreading the idea that the vaccines are dangerous and it costs people's lives, should that be dangerous? I mean, I don't know where the line is.
Well, I mean, yeah, absolutely. It is dangerous. And I mean, now, I don't believe that you should infringe on somebody's freedom of speech. I believe that a person should be able to walk out into a supermarket parking lot and shout at the top of their lungs that the earth is flat, and they shouldn't be arrested. They should be able to do that all they want. They should be able to go to anybody as long as they're not stalking them or doing anything illegal in addition to just talking to them and spreading this bullshit ideology, whatever it may be, flat earth, anti-vaccine, whatever, then yeah, I mean, that's not infringing on somebody's freedom of speech. But if they try to take out a billboard or whatever, then it should be a government law that protects companies from rejecting things like this that are harmful, that can be proven to be harmful ideologies.
Maybe it shouldn't be criminal. I think maybe it should be a civil. Like for example, if somebody doesn't vaccinate and then they get sick or whatever, I think the people that promoted the idea that they shouldn't get vaccinated should be able to get sued for it, right? Maybe I think maybe it shouldn't be a criminal thing. It should be something that we could take to the civil court, right?
Okay.
The,
Well, I think that the power should be given to the advertising companies to
no,
like
yeah,
like
no, I'm not. Obviously, the advertising company. This is a separate case. The advertising company, they have their own policies, and they could tell like this doesn't match our policies, and they could take out any billboard. I mean, I wouldn't even even if I say if I have a billboard with political messages that is not criminal, if they say, well, we don't want political messages on our billboard, that's a private company. They could have any policies they want, right? So I'm not judging I'm not saying the billboard thing. I mean, if you, advertising company not giving you their platform to you, that's not against free speech, right? I'm talking about the difference between the government allowing, like I'm wondering if this should have gone beyond just the advertising company removing the billboard.
oh,
Should go to the government saying, well, that's illegal, right? And when you
right.
say something is illegal, then you're saying it's a crime. But I think that would be too much. If you make it illegal, that's giving the government too much authority over what people can say or not. So maybe instead of making stuff illegal, this should be a civil matter. And when you cause people harm, they should be able to come and sue you. So I think that's where I stand right now.
But how can you prove? Would you come back and say, I saw this billboard on I-45 and it said that vaccines are bad, and so now I'm trying to figure out who put it up so I can sue them.
Well, the difference between civil court and criminal court is that in criminal court you have to prove things beyond reasonable doubt, but in civil court you just have to be probably right. So it's an easier barrier to. In civil court, it's an easier thing to prove, right? So yeah, I don't know. Well, we should get some lawyers commenting on this. But Robin is saying if you knew basic science, you wouldn't have to question the ingredients in a vaccine. I think one thing people have to really understand is the difference between like a element. And I don't know. I learned all this in Iranian university, so I don't know what the English version of it is. But like, there's like mercury and mercury without an electron, like it's very different. You know what I mean? Like if mercury could be poisonous, but mercury +1 or +2 or whatever is a completely different thing. You know what I mean? Than just mercury. So I think if just people understood the difference between how elements work, that would be like just because something has. Yeah. All right. Go on.
Right. Well, I mean, the toxic, what they call toxic metals or the heavy metals that are in vaccines are there for a purpose, and they're at such a minute level. A lot of people don't realize
they're not toxic at. No, I mean the form. I think the form that they're in is not toxic at all, right?
Well,
like for example, when you take iron pills, right? You're not actually taking the Fe. Anyways, you're not like it's not like eating metal. I don't know. I don't want to get into a science debate, but I think it's a completely different form of the element, right? That has none of the properties of the. I don't know. I wish I studied this in English instead of Persian. I would be able to talk about it easier.
I wish I did too.
But let me see what the live chat is saying. Humans work by interference. Soraya is saying if someone doesn't vaccinate, they will have to pay twice the fees if they go to a doctor, just a civil punishment. Oh, so Soraya is saying that maybe people that don't vaccinate should pay more for medical fees. That's interesting. Yeah. No, chat is not censored. I'm seeing the chat is not censored. I'm seeing everything.
Or maybe it would be some sort of an insurance policy where you couldn't get government funded insurance without being vaccinated.
Right. Okay, Will Phil, somebody is saying censoring anti-vaxxers will make the message more appealing. Yeah, yeah, that's another problem with censoring people. It will make it spread faster sometimes. James in the Facebook comment saying, go at night and plaster it with pictures of kids with preventable illnesses. That's yeah. Okay, so yeah, go on.
I'm sorry.
No, go on.
I just looked up the New Zealand code for their advertising standards, and oh come on, why are you doing this? And okay, and so it says that that whatever is advertised has to be truthful. It has to. Oh, where is it? Okay, legal, decent, honest, prepared with a sense of social responsibility to the consumer and society as a whole, and with due respect to the rules of fair competition. So that is their main advertising
Right.
law.
By the way, YouTube live chat, please keep the comments on the news. Please don't if you bring if you ask questions that if you keep tagging Atheist Republic and the comments are not about what we're about the news that we're covering, Christy, please put them on a timeout. Because then I'm gonna miss out some more important questions. Anyways, let's go to the next news.
The next news is from the United States, from the state of New Mexico, where the leader of a paramilitary religious sect, Deborah Green, was sentenced to 72 years in prison. She was convicted in a child sex abuse case. She's called the General by her followers. The victim it was kidnapped from Uganda as a baby, then was abused and mistreated by Deborah Green for years. She has had 11 surgeries so far to help fix broken bones. The victim has asked for a maximum sentence. However, the judge gave Green 72 years for 3 counts of child rape, 2 counts of kidnapping, and 1 count of child abuse. The girl from Uganda was not the only victim of the religious cult. It was found that there were 11 other children, including some as young as 4, who were being held against their will.
Okay, let me get this right. This is too crazy. This is a 17-year-old woman that she's a leader of a militant Christian group. Is that right? Christian cult?
Yeah, it's a paramilitary Christian group where they do military training, and she wears a uniform and a beret and calls herself the General.
What the fuck is this? Okay, and it's called Aggressive Christianity? Is that the name of their cult?
Yeah, she refers to herself as a militant Christian. Yeah, they're the Aggressive Christianity Missions Training Corps.
Okay, and she's 72. Oh, no, how old? Wait, no, that's the prison.
Yes, I could not. She's 71 years old, and she was sentenced to 72 years old.
Okay, that's why it's so confusing. So she's 71 years old
to 72 years. Sorry.
And she's been okay, and she's being raping children.
Yes, she was convicted of 3 counts of child rape, 2 counts of kidnapping, and 1 count of child abuse. And this is just on the one particular victim, the young girl from Uganda.
Holy fuck! Where is this again?
This is in New Mexico in the United States.
And how did the child from Uganda get into New Mexico?
From what I've read is that she was kidnapped as a baby.
This is a crazy story. Is this real?
Yes, absolutely. She's struggled so much from this, and she's been fighting to get this done for quite a long time. And the sad thing is that
you're talking about the child.
Yes.
The child has had 11 surgeries to fix
so
her broken
far.
bones.
Yes.
Like, so they didn't just molest her. They, like, what the fuck? How did she get... Yeah.
they would beat her. Her bones would break. They would heal back together, malformed, misformed, and they'd beat her again and break her bones. And this happened, her entire life.
Why?
Uh, I mean,
Okay.
there's really no way of knowing these sick individuals.
Okay. This is crazy. I don't get it.
Well,
She's
yeah,
yeah. So
it's crazy.
she has her own uniform. How many people are in this cult?
I could not get an exact number on how many followers are in the cult, but there are former members from which they got the testimonies from, where they got the description of how she used Christianity to control the other people and to make herself a leader at the compound.
And here's a how long how long have they been doing this?
Well, one of the people who came forward joined in 1984. So this has been going on for a while, and she was a member for 20 years before she left.
How did they manage to get away with all this long? Like, there's nobody noticing that they're doing these things there?
I don't know if you've ever been to New Mexico, but it's just wide open places, and it's not at all unfamiliar for somebody to live out in the middle of nowhere and not see anybody for years. So I mean, without any probable cause or any reason to search, this baby was kidnapped from Uganda. So, Uganda, I'm sure, didn't do anything about it or try to pursue the child. So the United States naturally wouldn't know about it. So they just got away with whatever they wanted to there.
Mars in the live chat is asking, did she provide any scriptural justification for her actions? Not that we know of, right?
No, she didn't. She just referred to herself as an oracle. She said that basically she was sent from God, and she even held trials, like she was a judge for anybody who tried to question her authority or to talk back against her or anything, and with punishments and everything. And she claimed that the authority to do that was given to her directly from God.
And Soraya is asking, what is the age of the victim child now? Any data on that?
The date on that, there's not a whole lot on the victim, so I'm guessing that the victim is still a minor, because it won't even give her first or last name. So I'm thinking that she's under 18.
Okay.
But she's obviously old enough to know. She said that she, quote, struggles with her own self-confidence, my self-esteem, my sense of worth. So she's very well spoken. So I'd assume she's probably in her late teens.
Okay, let's go to this. That was depressing.
Yes, very.
Let's go to the next news.
Next is from Ohio, again in the United States, where Keith Kozak, an outreach minister for the Catholic Diocese of Cleveland, was fired after it was found out that he liked a post about a friend's same-sex marriage. And he had posted another comment about another same-sex wedding that had read, "Enjoy your happily ever after. I'm glad I could be a part of it."
He got fired for liking and commenting on a gay wedding post?
Yes, that's correct.
Holy
He was also up for a big promotion earlier this month, and he was called in for a meeting. He thought he was getting his promotion. It was with a supervisor and somebody else from Human Resources that said they had seen something on social media and they wanted to talk to him about it. And the very next day, he got a letter from the diocese saying that he had been terminated. And the Diocese of Cleveland released a statement saying that his termination was appropriate, according to them.
But he didn't even say if he approves. Okay, so maybe
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, according to them, just by being happy for somebody's own happiness, you are enabling them in some way.
But couldn't he just say like, listen, these are okay. This is what I was. If I was a Christian and I was like believed in that nonsense, I would say we have to love the sinners. You have to go and obviously I'm just liking the fact that they're happy. But Jesus spent time with sinners, like he hung out with sinners more than other people. So I'm just trying to be friends with people. This is a long-term investment. Eventually, can you like, this is, I don't understand. Like, so they're anti-happiness basically. Like you can't even celebrate people's happiness.
Right. Well, and it wasn't just the fact that he had commented on it. He was actually at the wedding.
Oh, he was at the wedding.
Yes, he was a part of the wedding.
He was like, well, you should say, I was just trying to find sinners to bring back to Jesus. You could say
right, right.
Bobby in the live chat is saying sue. But I don't think he can sue because this is like, wait, what state is this
church.
again?
It's Ohio, and
so
it's
is it are gay people a protected group in Ohio or not? Because I know some states they are and some states they're not.
Well, it's not the gay person being punished here. It's this this man works for themselves. Oh, I'm sorry. Kozak himself is gay, but according to the Catholic Church, they don't care as long as you're celibate and single.
Right. But so Kozak himself is gay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that is correct, and that's a fact that didn't come out until after the fact.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, he shouldn't be working for such a homophobic institution, anyways. But do you think they have any? They don't have any legal. Like he can't sue, can he? Right? Because it's a private company. It's just like they can do whatever they want, and it's. I mean, well, it is homosexuality though. And do you know if it's a protected group in Ohio? Because then, if it is, then he could say it was discriminated against.
I mean, I'm sure it is, but then you have the separation of the church and state. I believe that the only time that they would get, well, I don't know if they would get involved or not. Can the state government override, or the federal for that matter, can they override the Catholic Church in their decision?
Legally, yeah. I mean, so for example, if you fire somebody because they're black, right, and because that's a protected group, or because they're a woman, right, that's illegal, right? You can't do that, right? So I think you can't discriminate based on sex. You can't discriminate based on race. There's some things that are protected, but I know when it comes to sexual orientation, some states do cover that, but some states don't, right? It doesn't matter if you're a Catholic Church. If you discriminate against people based on, in those states that is protected, if you discriminate based on sexual orientation, then you did something illegal. So I think it depends if that's also in Ohio that's covered or not. So I don't know. Yeah. But, hi, Beige in the live chat. All right, so let me see if there's any comments here. Michael is saying, well, that's pretty judgmental for a coven of pedophiles. Oh, this is a Catholic church. Actually, I wonder if they discovered, is this a Catholic church, right? It was a Catholic church, right?
Yes.
So do you think that if they discovered that he molested a child, instead of liking a post on Facebook or attending a gay wedding, they would protected him and like moved him around and hidden him, and maybe he would have still gotten that promotion? So if instead of just attending a gay wedding, right? Like when was the last time somebody got fired from a Catholic church because they molested a child?
Right. Yeah.
So the punishment for attending a gay wedding, if attending a gay wedding, they cannot tolerate that, right? But if you molest a child, then we'll all sin. You know, we're all sinners. Jesus forgives. You know, blah blah blah. This is their priorities, man. This is so fucked. Uh,
Apparently in Ohio they have a law that cites ministerial exception, which prohibits clergy members from bringing claims under federal discrimination laws because the relationship between the organized church and its ministers is its lifeblood.
Say that again.
They're basically saying that there is a ministerial exception where clergy members who are fired cannot bring claims under federal discrimination if it has to do with the relationship between the church and the ministers. So if they cite it for religious reasons, then they can do what's called a ministerial exception.
Oh, and this is just for Ohio?
I'm not sure that it's just for Ohio, but it has been cited that it does cover in this case, at least.
Oh, so religion also gets a better, like, an exception. There's a religious privilege that they have.
Right, but I'm guessing something that they can't defend religiously, like murder or something like that, wouldn't be able to be defended. I wonder if the Catholic Church were to stone somebody for being homosexual, instead of firing this man, if they took him out, buried him up to his chin, and stoned him to death with his family members throwing the first stone, would that be a ministerial exception?
Right. Yeah. This is so stupid that at this day and age we're talking about these things. Like, I mean, this is the fact that this is nonsense is so obvious. I mean, Tara is saying what I said as well. Tara is saying, but they'll move the pedo priests around, no problem. Again, I rather people use child molesting priests instead of pedo priests because they actually did something. But yeah, so child molesting priests.
I want to address one of the comments. Bobby B said, "Strange they let him work there, knowing he's gay, yet fire him for liking a post." They didn't know he was gay at the time. I'm sure they may have suspected it, but he said that he did not feel comfortable disclosing that to the church at his time of employment, but it did end up coming out in the end.
Jeremy is saying, seriously, the Catholic Church actually hides people who molest children. Yeah, yep. They do. They spend so much money on it as well. They protect them when they're molesting children, but not when they attend gay weddings, which is weird. Anyways, let's go to the next news.
The next news is, again, from the United States, from Pennsylvania, where Marilyn Teed, a flat earther, delivered a 4-minute public statement on how the earth is flat during a board meeting of the Methacton School District in Pennsylvania. Two students sitting next to the board members left their seats and walked out.
Wait. So this was a school thing?
Yes, it was actually at a school board meeting. She was trying to convince everybody that the earth was flat for some reason. She felt the need to say that the schools are lying to the children and the earth is not round.
Why do you think this is having such a comeback? Like, until like 2 years ago, I thought, like, I didn't know there was such a thing as flat earthers. Why is this becoming bigger and bigger? Like, where is this coming from?
It's the double-edged sword of the convenience of technology and the internet, man. These weirdos find each other and they create these communities and spread their awful ideas.
And it's mostly also religious people, right? Like, it's also like a lot of people that think that, what I've noticed is a lot of flat earthers think that the earth being like sphere is basically a way to contradict the Bible, or because they say, you know, contradict God's word, right? Or to make humans seem less, like, this whole thing is a conspiracy to make humans not the center of the universe, as if we're nothing, something like that, you know? Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, you're exactly right. It is religious, and you won't find a single proponent of the flat Earth theory that thinks the Earth is older than 10,000 years old. Every single flat Earther is also a young Earth creationist.
Yeah. I want to actually go meet some of these people and interview them. It would be interesting.
Oh, you have more patience than I do.
So you don't. I mean, the internet has been there for a while now. I think, but this is very recent. I think, or have they always been there and we just didn't know? Because
Well,
they are growing. Like there's way more of them than ever before. I think, or is it that we're just noticing them more than ever before?
I think the kickoff started when B.O.B. A rapper posted on Twitter saying that he was a flat earther, and since then several other celebrities and professional athletes have came out saying that they believe that the Earth is flat.
Yeah. And do you know how they justify the pictures that we have from space? And they think they're all just Photoshop and they're all just like yeah.
Oh yeah, that there's several theories going around, and no two flat earthers can agree on any two theories. But for the most part, they believe that NASA is a structure of the government or a structure of the devil himself, used to fool us into thinking that.
And what's the goal? With what purpose? Like, is that to fool us to what? Like, we spending so much taxpayer money to tell people a lie, so that what?
Right. Well, so that we don't all get to go to heaven, Armin. They are doing this. The government is doing this. They're spending our hard-earned dollars to fund things like this, to send up satellites, to send down pictures that aren't really there. So there's somebody in NASA, and they're really not astronauts. They're really graphic design students, right. And they are deceiving us and robbing us of eternity in heaven.
Well, what I notice is that people that believe in one conspiracy theory, they also believe in a whole bunch of other ones as well, right? And there's a lot of overlap happening here. So it's not just like the flat earth conspiracy theory is also mixed with the Illuminati, or Zionists or whatever, people controlling the whole, or Satanists, depending on your brand of conspiracy, controls the whole world, and this is NASA being part of the government, and the government being controlled by the Illuminati or by Satanists or by Zionists. That's part of their agenda. Like, so because when you said like, oh, they want us to not go to heaven, well, then the next question would be, well, why would the fucking government care, like, want us not to go to heaven? Oh, because now there's a new the other conspiracy. That's where it comes in here, right? So it's all pretty, right. Yeah. Suzanne is saying, if the Earth is flat, why haven't all the cats in the world knocked everything off?
Because of the ice wall. Come on, there's an ice wall.
Right. Oh yeah, because actually the ice wall. That's what they say when they say, well, if the world is flat, how is the water not, how do we still have water in oceans? Why is it not all spilling over and we run out of water, right? And they say, well, right. there's an ice wall, and they think like the North Pole. There is no North Pole. It's just like a whole wall of ice. It's kind of like Game of Thrones, like the wall. Right? But imagine that all around Earth that is keeping everything. But then what's beyond the ice? Like what's behind? I don't know. It's all weird.
The Night King. Duh.
Okay, Victor is saying, and that, my friend, is why I lose faith in humanity and even watch both sides of the road when crossing one-way street.
Yep.
Okay, so Soraya is saying, every time after a while when religious believers from strong groups, they just put, what is this? Preposterous statement or do such crazy things. Same here to India. Oh, okay, so same here. So Soraya is saying in India is the same thing. All right, so the Facebook Live chat, somebody saying, I'm from Iraq, we are fine. I'm not sure what that's referring to. But okay, let's go to the next news.
An organization that includes 6 former U.S. cardinals on its board of trustees and is funded by a number of wealthy Catholics, called the Better Church Governance Group, has announced that it will spend more than $1 million over the next year to investigate every current member of the College of Cardinals who are accused of child abuse or covering up any child sexual abuse case. They aim to produce a report by April of 2020. So that is a ways down the road, but it seems like it's going to be a very extensive uh, uh, investigation that's being funded by the board of trustees.
Wait, who are these people? These are former cardinals?
Yes, they are former U.S. Cardinals, and they
I don't
are
trust. I don't trust them. Give this money to someone else. Wait.
right.
So where are they getting this? How much money they're spending on investigating the church?
They're spending $1 million, and that money is donated by wealthy Catholics to this group. That's
No,
so
no, no. You need something more independent than this. This is a waste of money. Donate.
absolutely
Okay, take that money, give it to something that has another organization. If these okay, so these are former Catholics that are getting $1 million of other Catholics, donations from other Catholics to go investigate the Catholic Church, right? And is this to investigate child molestations within the U.S. alone? Is that what I'm saying?
Yes. Okay. So there are several cases regarding members of the College of Cardinals who have been accused of child abuse or covering up child abuse, but it's been swept under the rug and they hasn't been really prosecuted. So what they're doing here is they're claiming that they're going to sift through all of these cardinals and fund the investigation for it.
Yeah. Give the money to another third party organization that has nothing to do with the Catholic Church. Don't you think so? Like I don't think it's gonna. I mean, even if you guys are
Right.
even if you're unbiased, within your results, people would not trust your results if the money is coming from Catholics, and the organization itself is Catholic, then I don't know. I don't know if I could trust it. I think,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, and you don't know who's composing this team. It's a team of 100 people, researchers, investigative journalists, and just all different kinds of people. But we don't know where they're pulling these people from. We don't know what their religious affiliation or what their loyalty to the church is.
Right. Beach is saying what I'm saying is Beach is saying if we couldn't trust them before, how can we trust them now? And let me see if anybody. Thomas saying I hope they use. Okay, there's a picture here, so I don't know I hope they use the really big knobby probes. Oh, that's the referring to the title because the title is saying, Watchdog Group announces it will spend $1 million probing the Catholic Church. Cardinals. So Jay.
That's a very expensive dildo.
Yeah. Jade is saying, I really hope the phrasing was intended. I think everybody's just referring to the title. Kevin is saying the Watchdog Group is made up of Catholic cardinals, so I'm sure they get to the bottom of it. Again, I think Kevin is being sarcastic. Scott is saying, please don't use probing and cardinals in the same sentence. Yeah. I mean, who came up with whoever came up, what is this? This is the Friendly Atheist. This is Hamad Mehta. I think Hamad must have known that this is using probing in this title must have been on purpose.
He did it on purpose.
Yeah. Byron is saying, while the Cardinals continue probing altar boys. Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
All right. So, all right, let's go to the next news.
Okay, the next news is Daniel Walter Kenning strangled 45-year-old Jennifer Lee Moy in his basement. He met the woman previously at a wedding, and they had recently communicated on Facebook Messenger. He picked her up the night before and drove her home. He then tied her legs, handcuffed her arms to a table, and strangled her with one hand until she died, as God was telling him that he needed to kill somebody and that he would be able to resurrect them. And he now faces a maximum sentence of 40 years in prison.
What the fuck? Wait, so can you go over that again? So he thought God told him that he should kill somebody and resurrect him. Where is this again?
Yes, this is correct. He was interviewed Saturday by the St. Cloud police department, St. Cloud, Minnesota. He's lived there for 52 years. Lived there for a long time. Somebody across the street. Um, s- um,
I mean, it's weird. Okay, so this guy, he's the thing. This guy is obviously crazy, but he's not crazy enough for. I mean, he seems to know how to talk to people. I mean, this woman trusted her enough to let him pick her up. This is so
right.
scary because, like, if he's like this, I don't know. This makes me scared of people because how many people are like this without us knowing? You know what I mean? And again, when stuff like this happens, people always say, "Well, this guy was obviously insane. This has nothing to do with religion." And I know people that watch us a lot. This is getting repetitive, but I have to say it every time. Yes, people with mental issues. Obviously, the mental issues is a major factor, but religion makes it worse. Religion has a negative impact. It makes curing it worse and makes it makes acts like this more likely. If and the example I usually always give is like, imagine if somebody heard voices in their head and you went to them and told them, instead of encouraging them to go get help, you told them that the voices in their head is actually someone real and somebody with a position of authority that they have to listen to. If I did that to somebody with a mental illness, you would say, well, that's irresponsible of you to do something like that, right? So if you
Hmm.
see that as something irresponsible, then the impact of religion is exactly the same thing, right?
Right. Man,
So,
you know what would be really weird is if somebody who heard voices in their head, a whole bunch of people got together and put together a book written by people who heard voices in their heads too, and then told other people that they had to believe it.
oh,
Wouldn't that be crazy?
yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's your hypothesis for religion, how it came about.
I mean, it's one of many.
One of many. So wait. So Kenning tied her legs and handcuffed her arms to a table. He strangled the woman with one hand until she died, as God
Yes.
had told him he needed to kill someone, and that he would be able to resurrect them. He now faces maximum sentence, 40 years in prison. Why just okay?
That's
So
right. And he actually walked to the police station Saturday morning, and uh,
he
and
himself
and
he went to the
and
police himself.
yes, that's correct, and
Hmm.
turned himself in.
Did he say what he thinks now, given that he was supposed to resurrect her and he wasn't able to resurrect her?
He still hasn't faced trial yet. He's still jailed. There haven't been any other updates on it. He's on a $2 million bail, but this was only 2 days ago.
Oh my god. Sir, Soraya is saying, was that woman related to him? No, I think what you said was that
No,
they met at a wedding before,
that's
right?
correct. And then they added each other on Facebook and were in communication. And he went and picked her up and brought her back to his house. And so it looks like he was baiting her.
Wow. Okay, let me see if there are any top comments here. Okay, so Arthur is saying, let's try it again, just to be sure, this time with you. Oh, so Arthur wants to kill the man that did this. Um. All right. Let me see if there's anything. So comments about the other hand are out of the line, right? Okay, so Roger is saying, so glad to find Atheist Republic. Keep up the live videos. Oh, thank you, Roger. All right, so let's go to the next news.
The next news is Jesse Lee Peterson, who's a conservative radio host in the United States.
That's
he
amazing.
oh
You,
he's
you,
he's
you know
he's something
that's his
else.
catchphrase. Like, that's amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah,
All
it's
right.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. Go on.
He's like Diet Alex Jones.
Okay. I never heard that. Okay. Go on. So.
So he said that the Democratic senators who questioned Kavanaugh in the hearing were demonic. For those of you who don't know, Judge Brett Kavanaugh has been being questioned by members of the Senate in the United States over allegations of sexual abuse, underage drinking, and a number of other things. Um, Jesse Lee Peterson also added that the party, the Democrat Party in particular, is now controlled by angry, man-hating, God-hating, good women-hating, children, the unborn child-hating women. So yeah, so he's claiming that the Democratic Party is just made up of a bunch of women haters, man haters, and God haters. So pretty much the only thing that we like is bad women.
No, wait, it doesn't say women hating. It says
it says good women hating.
Oh, okay, good women hating.
Yeah.
So so the Democratic Party hates all men, hates God, hate good women, hates children, and unborn child hating women.
We're all about them bad girls.
Oh my god. I don't know how is this guy taken seriously. A lot of people think like has like smart or like I don't know, like I even know some atheists that kind of admire this guy. I don't understand.
Right.
It's crazy. You know what this guy calls Trump?
What's that?
He calls him the White Hope.
The White Hope? Seriously?
Yeah, that's what he refers to Trump.
Wow. Yeah, well, he says that that the Democrat Party hates men and God because men represent God on earth in the form of the Republican Party, and basically he's saying that it's a spiritual battle. Again, promoting bipartisanship, saying that it's warfare between good and evil, has nothing to do with being male or female. It's the God you serve, and the Democratic Party is of its father, the devil, and all the little Democrats running around represent Satan.
Wow. By the way, Anthony in the live chat is saying, I'm ashamed that God read loud. No, that's fine. You have some good comments, Anthony. Don't worry about it. But also Anthony is saying, I call him the orange nope.
The funny. Orange nope?
Yeah. Let's see if there's some comments here in the... Okay. Christy is saying, Armin has zero control over your cuss words usage. Yeah, I don't. Okay. Can't spell is saying a good workaround is change your name to nope. I don't know. That's not about the news. Sam in the Facebook post saying love this guy, maybe one of my favorite comedians. Yeah, he is pretty funny. Chris is saying and Republicans are controlled by personal greed and a need to control everything. I wouldn't use such generalizations on any group of people. I Cook Heller is saying blacks are controlled by myths and fables in the Bible. Okay, I don't know what that got to do with the title.
True, but irrelevant.
Yeah. Steve is saying I agree except for the God-hating part. Okay, so this is a person that hates the Democratic Party. Anyways, so let's go to the next news.
The next one is again from the United States, and it's something that kind of hits home for myself and most like-minded people here. The Environmental Protection Agency is getting rid of its Office of the Science Advisor position, according to the New York Times report. And the Science Advisor is a position that existed specifically to educate the head of the EPA on research affecting health and the environment. They justified that the position was redundant and did not matter, and therefore they did not need it anymore. The head of a union representing about 900 EPA employees, Michael McCulka, said that this is an attempt to silence voices, whether it's the agency's Office of Children's Health or the Office of the Science Advisor, to kill career civil servants' input and scientific perspectives on rulemaking.
Right, so this is more of an anti-science related news than a religion related one, right?
Yes, yeah, it's more anti-science, but it's the same people who are doing this and taking away these appointments are the same people who are appointing members that have no business being in the Environmental Protection Agency.
By the way, just to correct myself, not that religion by itself is anti-science, but yeah. Yeah.
Debatable.
No, religion is anti-science, isn't it?
I don't think that that religion and science can exist side by side.
So that makes it anti-science.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So the top comment is saying good because the jury is still out on quote unquote science. I think that's again being sarcastic. Let's another comment saying let's eliminate the role of the U.S. from this planet. They've definitely overstayed their welcome.
Oh,
Soraya is saying bad decision. Science advisor is important. I think it just seems like this whole administration is very anti-science in general.
yes, very.
Yeah, and
It started with the global warming and the climate change deniers. It's just ridiculous. And these are the same people who believe that Noah was on an ark for a year and it flooded the entire earth. It's ridiculous.
yeah,
They like to cherry pick their science, that's for sure.
yeah. I mean, even the whole like maybe some people are like, well, they're making the space force, right? So that's
Right.
But the thing is that I wish instead of making the space force, they just would increase. They just use that money and increase the budget of NASA. That would have been great.
Right. Or
Imagine,
or
right?
maybe fund some kind of homeless program or a poverty program or something.
Yeah, or just fund science. You just fund if
Yeah.
you fund science, those things will, in the long term, it will have those positive effects in the long term, right?
Right.
Anyways, let's go to the next. Hold on, wait. All right, wait. Let's go to the next news.
Okay, our last story we talked about last week, Reverend Paul Kalchik, he was the priest who burned a rainbow flag that was displayed at his church after saying that gay people should be put to death, and then he was removed as head of his church. He is now saying that he's been driven into hiding due to the massive amounts of death threats from the homosexuals.
Well, okay, so just to give some context to people, we covered this guy. Is this the same guy that burned a gay flag in his church?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so there's a history with this guy, right? So first, so the history is that he first said some shit about it, so killing gay people, which is apparently biblical and okay, right?
Right.
The biblical part of it, he's right about that, right? The fact that it's biblical.
Absolutely.
But then he noticed that he's not. So that was very controversial. But then he noticed that he's not getting much coverage. So he burned a gay flag in his church, which he did it inside, which is very dangerous. I think, right? I think if you want to burn anything, burn it outside. But then now he's saying that. So I didn't know he got kicked out of the church because we were actually commenting on this, right? Why is this guy still, still has his job? So
That's correct.
So he was kicked out of the church. Like he
Well,
did.
yes. At the time, we didn't know, but apparently the diocese had already contacted Kalchik and told him to not burn the flag. Remember we had talked about he had already made his plans known. So apparently the diocese had spoken out against this, and he went ahead and
Wait,
did it anyways.
Islam Zionist regressive left is saying homeless sexuals. Did I say homeless sexuals? No, I didn't.
Homeless sexuals?
No, I didn't say
or,
that.
or
You're
maybe
making
I
stuff
did.
up.
I don't know.
All right, go on. All right.
That's hilarious.
Okay.
But yeah, so check this out, and also another little caveat after the fact. Not only did he cut the flag up and burn it, but then he performed an exorcism on it because he believes that homosexuality is caused by demons.
Wait, he did an exorcism on the burned flag?
Yes, on the ashes.
Okay, this guy doesn't know his demonology very well. Okay, demons can't possess. Can they? Wait, no, they can't.
They can't possess inanimate objects.
Wait, actually, I don't. I know they can possess. I mean, based on their own bullshit, they can possess dolls sometimes, right? But they can't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, yeah, dolls, right? Sometimes are possessed by demons, But a burned flag, that would be a new one, right? So
Right.
yeah, that's weird. So he burned the flag. He did an exorcism on the ashes of the flag. He got kicked out, and now he's saying that he's on the run. He's in hiding.
Right.
Because
And his claim is that he's being threatened by he doesn't call them homosexuals, he calls them homosexualists. So he's saying that he's in
homosexualists.
yeah, homosexualist, whatever that is.
Oh, so
I,
I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to make it seem like it's an ideology.
right, like supporters of homosexuality maybe.
So yeah, homosexuality, like it's a religion or something like that.
Right,
Okay.
like it's some kind of a following or some kind of a cult. But so I did a little bit of digging, and he's not running from these murderous gays. He is
that should be
he
a,
is
that should be a movie.
murderous gays from Mars. Oh jeez, but no, he's
murderous
so
homeless sexuals. But go on, okay.
murderous homeless sexuals.
Okay.
So okay, so he's running because he was told that after his removal, he was going to be sent to a psychiatric center in Maryland called St. Luke's Institute that focuses specifically on mental health care for priests. So that there's an entire psychiatric center devoted to mentally ill priests.
Right. Wait, what? So mentally ill priests?
Yes, that is specifically the whole psychiatric center is for priests specifically.
And he's there? Wait.
No, he
repeat
was
what you
told,
just said. Yeah, okay, he was told.
he was told that he was going to be sent there
Right.
on behalf of the diocese as part of his punishment in addition to being removed from his position.
Right.
And so he's on the run from that because he's afraid that they're going to actually make legal whatever legal changes they need to make to have him arrested and sent there forcibly.
Right. But by the way, if anybody is sending these guys death threats or anything like that, don't do that. They love it, right? This is the whole. Christians have a fetish for being, for being a victim, right? So if you think, first of all, don't send death threats to anybody. But even if you're not convinced that it's not a good thing to send death threats to people, at least know that most of these people enjoy it. So. Yeah, it doesn't help anybody to send people death threats. So Ron is saying, man who threatens people cries when threatened back. Must be a conservative. I don't understand.
Maybe he was worried about those homeless sexuals in the Catholic probe getting together and having a good time.
No, okay. He wants to kill gays, cries to the media after getting death threats. It's just me or that finds this ironic. It is ironic, but I'm hoping people don't think this is justified, right? Like somebody sending death threats doesn't justify them getting death threats, right? Am I the only one that thinks that here? Do you agree that that's...
No, absolutely. Two wrongs do not make a right.
Right. But it's still, I agree that it's ironic and it's funny, but it's not okay, I guess. Lady that I can't pronounce her name is saying, you want gays killed and you are now hiding because of death threats? How ironic. I think everybody's just pointing out the irony. Rick is saying, thoughts and prayers. See if it, okay, I think there's an if missing here. Say if it does fuck all for you, doesn't it? Okay, that was not proper English, sorry. Another one. Chris is saying, keep hiding, work well for Bin Laden. Okay, this is scary a little bit. I'm hoping people don't think that somebody, no matter how bad or how bad their views are, they don't deserve to die or anything like that. Maybe they deserve to go to jail or something for death threats. I don't know, but I'm hoping we don't become that vengeful that we want somebody that we disagree with to die or suffer in any way like that. I don't know. Let's see if anybody in the live chat agrees with me or disagrees with me. Christy is saying demons have never possessed an atheist. Seems curious to me. Christy also says one has got to be a bit mental to vow to never have sex. Just saying. Christy, don't give atheists a reason to say that they are being persecuted.
Oh, you're so right. I'm not looking forward to in a couple of weeks when Starbucks announces that they're not writing the word Christmas on their coffee cups.
Right. No, but I think what Christy is saying is that that's not real persecution. But if somebody actually is sending this guy death threats, then now he has a case to say like, oh look, they're sending me death threats. Like, we shouldn't give them that. Right? I think that's what she's referring to, and I think she's right. And she's saying violence is not okay. Yeah, I agree with that. Roger in the Facebook live chat saying they deserve to be laughed at. Yeah, I mean, laughing at this is fine, but I'm hoping that like the death threats itself is not justified. Right?
Attack the ideology. Don't attack the person.
Right. Well, I mean, unless they're an asshole, right? You can point out if someone's an asshole, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody has shitty views but they're nice, just attack their shitty views without attacking them. If somebody's an asshole, then I think it's fine to point out that they're an asshole, right? Like this guy, for example, he wants to kill gays, right? So I think it's personally attacking this guy, I think is fine.
Right. As long as you're not saying you're an asshole because you're Muslim, or you're an asshole because you're Christian,
or you're wrong. Like somebody could be very, very wrong, but still a decent human being, right? Somebody could be have very bad ideas, but still a decent human being. But obviously, somebody.
I invited my mom to this live chat, and I hope she's watching, because I want the whole world to know that my mom does not believe in dinosaurs. My mom does not believe dinosaurs ever existed, but she is she's my mom. I love her to death, and she's an amazing woman, but she does not have all of her facts straight.
Well, it's good that you managed to disagree and still have a relationship with each other. But obviously, somebody that wants to kill gay people, you could personally attack them, right? I think you could point out that they're shitty human beings, right? Like this guy, right? But personally attacking them obviously does not mean that you can send them death threats or wish them, or harm or anything like that. Grant is saying need to be checked always, no death threats. They better check themselves. Okay, I'm not okay. Christy is saying dinosaurs rock.
Yeah.
Well, they used to.
Now they are rock.
Now they are rocks. Yeah, that's it. All right. So Christy is saying the war on Christmas is a non-starter at this point. It's laughable, though they'll still claim this to be so. Sigh. All right. So I think that was the last news, right? So
that was it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for Christy for becoming our new mod. And I think Mike might be also interested to mod here sometimes. If you're also interested in helping out modding, let us know. Anyways, thank you so much, all people in the live chat: Conspel, Christy, Old Scratch, Jungle Jargon, Seek Most Upper. I don't know. I'm not gonna read that. Everybody else that I didn't mention: Jeremy, Bobby. Thank you guys. Thank you for correcting us. Thank you for disagreeing with us, and see you again next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.